back. Let's track the festive sales, talk a little bit more about new launches when it comes to Bajaj Auto. Rakesh Sharma is the ED now joining us on the show. Thanks so much for taking time out. Tell us, what have festive sales been like up until now? What's the expectation? Which segments do you believe Mr. Sharma could really propel growth?
Good morning. I must say that the festive has just started, so it's a little bit early to start to give a verdict on festive sales. But if we rewind a little bit, then I must say that the last quarter, which is quarter one and quarter two, July and August, have seen a little bit of a turnaround in retail terms compared to the previous year. Till about quarter four, the industry was still in decline, but towards the end of quarter one, and then certainly in July and August, we have seen an uptick in the industry. This is, in our opinion, being driven by the top half of the industry, which is the 125cc plus segments, which constitute almost 50%, a shade under 50% of the industry. That is growing at a faster pace than the bottom half. The demand at this point of time seems to be evenly spread across urban centers and rural centers. Retail financing is progressing very well. We are seeing tenures of loans going up, which is a very good indication because that suggests that people have confidence in a continued stream of income based on which they are taking longer tenure loans. So I would say that the curve has sort of turned around and now we are looking directionally upwards. But I would say that we are still in middle single digit, 6 to 8% growth levels in terms of retails.
Good morning. Nikunj also joining in. So nice to connect with you. When we spoke last time, and I'm just going to quote part of our last interaction, you said that domestic market could pick up. You are excited about which way the global demand, export demand is moving. But given that commodity prices have stabilized, things are looking up at least in Asia and in Africa, is there reason to get actually more excited about exports recovery faster than the retail recovery?
The performance of the domestic markets is far superior and therefore more exciting. I think the exports recovery has commenced and quarter one was better than quarter four in retail terms for us also. And quarter two is seeming to be better than quarter one. However, it's improving in bits and pieces. I would say it's like a sharp recovery, but it's like, quarter one was better than quarter four by about 3-4%. And similarly, quarter two is better than quarter one by about 3-4%. I think we will continue to see an improvement, but it is going to be slow and steady. And you see, the issue is internationally, there are two issues, as I probably would have mentioned last time. One is that inflation has ravaged these emerging market economies. And that is still not coming under control because the dollar is stronger compared to these currencies and they continue to devalue, which means that a lot of these economies are very foreign trade dependent and their exposure to currency volatility is very high. So therefore, inflation remains an issue in some of these countries. And second is the availability of the dollar for trade, which is improving. So when you put both of these things together, one sees that yes, there will be recovery, but it's going to be slow and steady, which we are happy about. The free fall has flattened out and at least we are back into the positive territory now.
So the big trend within the auto sector, the big trend is that everybody wants more at the same price, which is more power, more mileage, and more CC bikes. So when the domestic buyer in India will come back, do you think they will come back at entry level, or they would come back in premium, or they would come back in mid-range?
So this is not a trend. This is a phenomena. It's a feature of the Indian market that, and in particularly our category, that people are really driven foremost by value for money reasons. And it's a capital economy, so one can understand that. And the second thing is we have to understand that 70-80% of motorcycle customers earn less than 40,000 rupees per month. So that is the segment which we are talking about. And therefore, this segment is always thrusting for value for money propositions. Which segment will perform better is really an outcome of the nature of the economic recovery. 6 months back, the nature of the economic recovery was really in the top half of our demand segments, people who were better off, who had some better savings. The economic recovery had not yet reached people at the lower segments. Now one is finding that there is some bit of confidence which is appearing over there, and people are willing to come out and spend some money. And what happens is that when the times are tough, and actually a lot of the savings have got impaired because of COVID, then this adventurism in purchase gets curtailed, and you go back to a higher value for money. And that phenomena could be at any level. It could be at a super premium level, it could be premium level, it could be mid level. Now, and just to quote, a customer who told me that he doesn't have enough money to buy cheap. So they're very careful. They don't want to just buy on price and have a service problem or a maintenance problem. Therefore, you start to see the recovery in the mid-range and certainly in the top range. Mid-range because it makes better sense. Top range because that is the customer who is recovering faster. And that when you put these two things together, that is what is standing out, that the better products are doing much better than the price-led products.
Okay, what is the outlook, Mr. Sharma, when it comes to the plans to ramp up the electric two-wheeler production? Can you walk us through what the targets are, how much you're looking at in terms of units per month?
Well, we are right now unlocked the capacities, and we are right now at between the 8 to 10,000 levels, and in per month for Chetak. And we should be able to move this up to 10 to 15,000 kind of levels by Q4. And then we will see beyond that how the market is shaping up, which way the winds are blowing when it comes to the subsidy support, because the subsidy is a very, very important factor which is strengthening the economic proposition of electric two-wheelers and aiding the migration from ICE two-wheelers to electric two-wheelers. So we have to keep that into account. We know that there is a fault line in March by when the policy should get clarified going forward. The previous clarification, which happened suddenly in May, did retard the growth. It is still growing, but at a much lower level. So that's our sort of broad plan in terms of capacities and the kind of volumes we are intending to pursue.
Will you be a bit aggressive then once there is clarity on the policy front when it comes to product launches? Because we are seeing a lot of OEMs as well expand their product basket. What is your sense in terms of those plans?
Yeah, so in the next quarter, you will see an expansion in the Chetak portfolio, and when we hit the next financial year, there will be, by then, what is going to happen is that hopefully the electric two-wheeler segment is going to be much bigger, which then gives you opportunities to sub-segment the market. Just throwing more and more models and then fracturing the demand and your own retails over multiple models which have marginal differences between them is not as productive. But we are anticipating that this segment will obviously be bigger. It's continually, the penetration in the scooters is increasing. It stands at about 15% now. And we are anticipating that this is going to give us opportunities to sub-segment the market and have meaningful introductions which deliver different propositions. And this you will see this happening in the next financial year.
What's your outlook in terms of launches of electric three-wheelers? The pilot launch, I understand, has been done in a few cities. What has been the response till date? What is the expectation that you have from the sales here in the longer term? And what kind of a cannibalization impact, if I may, will be expected?
Yeah, about a couple of months ago, we launched the electric three-wheeler very selectively in Uttar Pradesh. And we have had an absolutely outstanding response. We had to take a step back because a few months ago when we went in, we realized that we needed to improve the proposition a bit. So we strengthened that and we launched it a couple of months ago. And I can tell you that we are already, wherever we are where we started, we are at leadership market share already. We are therefore now scaling up, and scaling up means not just at the front end, entering more and more cities, but also at the back end, ensuring that the supply chain is now going to be able to deliver the increased demand now that the acceptance of the product has been absolutely magnificent. The cannibalization is very slender because most of these cities, the auto rickshaw is not allowed because they are under the permit system. And for many years now, the ICE autos have, even CNG autos have not been permitted in these cities. And therefore, this is almost entirely new business. And what happened when the autos were not permitted to, no new permits were being issued for autos, demand for intra-city transport and mobility continued to surge. And that was then being satisfied with what we call e-rickshaws, which have become a huge phenomena in the north and the east. And wherever we have now launched our e-autos, it has cannibalized these e-rickshaws, particularly those people who have been plying e-rickshaws for 1 or 2 years, know that it's not a durable product and they finally want to get into a very legitimate sound product, and that is where the e-auto steps in. So in that way, as we scale up, at least for quite some time, we feel this is absolutely new business for us.
Thank you for joining us and giving us a lot more clarity on business, festive sales, and what you're